She was a very giving person, and she believed so much in education. I cannot tell you the sacrifices she made to make sure all of us had a college degree. There was never a question that we weren't going to get an education. And even her mother was that way. And she had an aunt who took her in and paid her tuition so she could go to college. And she believed strongly in education and community involvement and family.
She was very smart, very intelligent. She was a real scholar in a bunch of different ways. She had a huge span of knowledge and interests. She did crossword puzzles in an ink pen.
My mom was one of a kind. She had energy like you couldn't believe. She was dedicated to her family, number one, and then also to her God. She was somewhat strict, but she always listened to us. So as a mother, I would say she was just the best.
She was well-rounded, and she made my dad a good wife. He ran a peach packing shed, and that wasn't always easy, particularly the years the peaches got killed. But Mother rolled up her sleeve, went back to work, and taught, and made it possible for the three of us to get a college education.
You know, she taught not only school, academic school. She taught Sunday school class at the Baptist Church for 40 or 50 years. I remember when Bruce Morgan, Dr. Morgan, preached a funeral, he said, if the Baptist Church had saints, she'd be one. That's awesome. So she was that kind of person.
My mother believed in the motto, volunteerism is the price you pay for the space that you occupy. I never knew where that quote came from, but she spent a lot of her years volunteering. She was on a number of local boards. She was very involved in her community and her church in many, many ways.
My mother was smart as a whip. She originally meant to be a doctor, but then it wasn't quite enough money at that point for her to go to medical school, and she went into education.
When she was teaching, she taught several different courses. I know math and history and maybe some others.
She was curious about the world around her, and she wanted to instill that curiosity basically in her students.
She could have taught anything, I guess, but basically most of her career was spent at Spalding Junior High.
About mid-career, she did change from social studies to teaching math. And they had a shortage of math teachers, and my mother was a bright woman. There was no question about it. And she got right into the math curriculum and finished her career as a math teacher. And as I recall, she was awarded star teacher by one of her very bright young math students. So he nominated her, and she just loved that honor.
Started out, I believe, teaching algebra at Spalding Junior High. And then at some point she got asked to do world history, and I think she did it the most, and she was head of the history department when she retired.
She would pull in biographical information and really taught history through the historical figures who were the movers and shakers of the particular period she was covering. So I really think she was ahead of her time. She was a formidable woman, so I don't think the principal gave her any trouble about teaching like that. And I would just kind of say that she was a little bit ahead of her time in that way.
I feel like she was my first mentor as I saw her teaching in the manner she taught and the dedication.
You know, I think her biggest reward, if you would say that, from teaching was to see the students that she taught developed.
She was teaching when we integrated schools. And that integration was challenging for many people, not only the students who were coming into new schools, but for the teachers as well. But I remember my mother embracing that process. Now, my father at that time, I believe, was chairman of the Board of Education, so probably she didn't have any choice, but she did pride herself in relating to her new students. And I think that was, to me, could be a stellar moment for her, was during that integration period.
She just loved what she did. She was compassionate, but she was demanding. She required people to reach their potential if they could. She was very fair, encouraging, always encouraging. And
my mother would give it all that she had in whatever she did. And I think maybe that's why she may be recognized. When Sara Manley took on a challenge or took on a new curriculum or a new piece of educational philosophy that was coming down, she would embrace it and give it all of her energy. She was never what you would call a rebel rouser, but she stood her ground, and she gave a lot of energy. I think that would be what I would say. I remember there was a counter in our kitchen, and she would grade her papers on that counter. And after she retired, I remember visiting once and seeing all the ballpoint pen marks that had strayed onto the countertop from all of those years of sitting there late at night grading papers, because she wanted to get them right back to the kids so that they would know how they were doing.
She was what she was. I mean, there was no pretense about Mother. She was very outspoken, and she believed in things very much. She believed in women's rights before that was a big issue, and one of the reasons she was such a supporter of CBF was because they would allow women to preach and to be ordained to the ministry and to have leadership roles. And so I think, I don't remember, she never marched with a placard or anything, but she very much believed in women's rights. She believed in educators' roles in society, and she believed in being faithful to your God, frankly. That about sums her up.